We can kick this webinar off. I'm very happy to welcome you all in this webinar today. So good evening to everyone. It's 6 p.m. In Palestine. Currently, it might be the morning time where you're joining us. So thank you for joining us from wherever you are. This webinar is titled Gaza's Digital Economy Under Siege, Findings and Paths to Accountability. My name is Jalal Abu Khater, Policy Manager at Hamle, the Arab Center for the Advancement of Social Media. I'll be moderating today's discussion. Gaza's digital economy has been pushed to the brink by years of blockade since October 2023 by the widespread destruction of telecommunications and power infrastructure. We know what once served as a fragile but vital lifeline for freelancers in Gaza, remote workers, digital entrepreneurs. It's been severely disrupted and it cut off people from income, from communication, from education, and the ability to remain connected to the outside world in entirety. So today's session is built around this new report we have just published at Hamle. The report is titled The Impact of Gaza's Blockade and the Destruction of Telecommunications Infrastructure on the Digital Economy Amidst Genocide. The report documents how connectivity loss, electricity blackouts, payment discrimination, and platform exclusion are shaping and reshaping livelihoods in Gaza. And it's based on a survey data and first-hand testimonies from digital workers themselves. We will be joined by two important voices. First of all, we will be joined by Dr. Mohammed Alshurafa, lecturer at the University of St. Andrews and author of the report. Mohammed is a Palestinian critical accounting researcher working on digital colonialism, accountability, and corporate responsibility under settler colonialism, with a focus on the Palestinian telecommunications and digital economy sectors. We're also joined by Salsabil Al-Bardawil, founder of Gaza Talent. Salsabil is a UX, UI, and product designer from Gaza. She's a founder of a digital platform that supports Palestinian freelancers by connecting them with real job opportunities and professional growth spaces. She's also contributed to the report, of course, through her testimony and experience on the ground. Dr. Alshurafa is joining us from St. Andrews and Salsabil is joining us from Gaza. I'm with you from Jerusalem myself. The format will be very simple. I'll begin with a few questions to Dr. Alshurafa and ask him to present some key findings from the research. And then we move into a moderated discussion with both Mohammed and Salsabil to connect the data with the lived experience and practical realities. We will leave time at the end for reflections and questions from the audience if the time allows. Thank you again for being with us. Mohammed, I will start with you.
Yep.
How would you describe the state of Gaza's digital economy today based on your research and how it has changed since October 2023? Please.
Yeah, thank you, Jalal. If we go back before the 7th of October 2023, then we will be talking about a very, very fragile economy in Gaza. You talk about 60 plus unemployment rate, and you talk about a place that was already recognized unlivable place by the United Nations. So we talk about a place that is unlivable. But amongst all of these difficulties, the digital economy of Gaza was slightly growing over time, given the restrictions that were there. So we saw before the 7th how some NGOs, some initiatives started to train Palestinian freelancers to join the digital economy, to get out of the siege that has been imposed in Gaza since 2005. So digital economy and freelancers started to find their ways through the digital economy. And throughout the report, we document and we narrate how Palestinian freelancers were very talented and were always preferred by their clients for so many reasons. First of all, their English language, the English level was really high, that enabled them to work with different clients from different parts of the world. They are very well educated, and with some NGOs giving them trainings and up-to-date knowledge from time to time that kept them actually in a very, very professional manner. In addition, of course, to some other reasons that helped them, for example, their geographical location that made the time difference not very big with clients from mainly from Europe and other parts of the world. So we have seen a kind of a very small digital economy that is growing, but they had some restrictions, mainly in accessing proper infrastructure. Everything I'm telling you was existing under a 2G mobile network. I don't know if our audience today are familiar with what 2G means, but I can tell you, speaking of experience, that with 2G, apart from texting someone on WhatsApp, there is nothing else that you can do. And of course, the restrictions on the imports of lots of equipment and IT infrastructure. But amongst all of these, they managed to do. But what happened is after that, it's not like a gradual destruction of the infrastructure. No, there has been like a sudden destruction of the total infrastructure. That's why by the early days of the genocide in Gaza, a lot of people in the interviews, they were telling me that we had to stop immediately because lots of them, they had to evacuate and they had to leave their houses. So we have seen the economy shattered at once. And then it took some of them 6 months, 9 months, and we speak about some people who haven't yet returned. There are so many interviewees and people who filled the surveys who haven't yet returned to be freelancers because of what we have documented in the reports, because of the loss of their equipment, because of electricity, because of destruction of their working spaces. So we talk about now we talk about a complete destroyed infrastructure uh, in which the freelancers have to work through. We talk about laptops, IT equipment that are not allowed to get into Gaza, but at the same time, over 2 years, they have become obsolete. And you just imagine that if you are a freelancer, you got a laptop, you got a mobile phone, you'll need to take it every day to a charging point. And during that time, you have to put your laptop on a charging point, and you have to wait to be next to your laptop because you need to make sure that no one is going to take it. Uh, you will have like tens of people surrounding in one area charging their phones, and then they will be targeted all at once. So every step the freelancers were doing, while they were actually risking their lives. Even moving to go to a co-working space was also putting their lives at risk. And maybe a lot of us have seen the cafe that has been targeted on Gaza Beach, where a lot of freelancers got killed by the attack. So nowadays, if we want to describe how the digital economy is, if we were talking about a fragile one before the 7th of October, then today we talk about a complete destroyed digital economy that freelancers, they just work and work hard in order to survive. They are not working normally like most people, like they work 9 to 5, or they can decide whatever working hours work for them and for their families. But for freelancers, not. They just work when if by any chance they manage to get internet, or by any chance they manage to charge their laptops or their phones. So they are working unusual circumstances, and also they are restricted by lots of other restrictions, like from some of platforms, from banks. And if you know, for example, in Gaza, Israel doesn't allow currency and notes to get into Gaza, so they also have a problem with having cash in hand and being able to withdraw their money. Some of them, they earn the money, but they cannot withdraw it. If they will withdraw it, then they will be paying a lot of commissions. Something else we noticed through our report, that 72% of the people who filled the survey, so we have 183, and you know, Jalal, our target was 150, but we felt that the freelancers, they want their voices to be heard. So instead of 150, we managed to get 183. In research, you normally aim for something and you get less, but for this one, we got more than what we needed. And 72% of them are homeless. So um, that tells you exactly how the situation, how would you be a homeless freelancer? And that's something I thought about naming the report after. It's like being a homeless freelancer, that you don't have a house, you don't have internet, you don't have computer, and at the same time, you have to be up to work and to be online on the platform, so the clients can see you, the clients can contact you, the clients will expect that you, as a freelancer, you should be available at any time they need you, or be responsive to their emails and their requests, participate in meetings, listen to their feedback. And also, some of the interviewees that we met were already in contracts. So a lot of them had contracts before the 7th of October, and they already started, and then they had to stop, and they lost everything they had done. So we have seen a lot of that, and we have seen also some clients who are not willing to work with them anymore. It's not because they are being like racist or discrimination against them, but because at the end of the day, the client got a project that needs to be delivered on time. So even the interviewees were saying that we are not accusing our clients of being racist against us as Palestinian freelancers, but we do understand that they are under pressure to deliver their products or their projects on time, which is something that we cannot guarantee. So we have seen a lot of these testimonials and experiences that tell you exactly, Jalal, it's not sustainable. What's going on now? There are some freelancers who work actually, but that's not sustainable. They might be working for more than for like a month, 2 months more, but they will not be able to do that. I can actually share with you. Salsabil shared with me previously like a list of the laptops in Gaza. If, for example, you want to buy an Apple MacBook M4, you have to pay 4,900. If, for example, you want to buy a Lenovo Legion 5 Pro Core i7, you need to pay 3,700 US dollars. If, for example, you want to buy an HP Ultra 9, you need to pay 3,900. You see the prices that we talk about. And even if you want to buy that expensive laptop or that expensive computer, at the end of the day, you will take it to a charging point, a charging on a car battery, which is basically risking that you will lose this laptop. My sister is a freelancer herself. She's a voiceover artist, and she was telling me she needs a microphone, and a small chip within the microphone wasn't working. So she had to spend a week just searching and going over Gaza trying to fix that problem. She told me in normal situation I can fix it by 50 shekels, but she had to go over from several places, and I think she ended up paying 200 or 250 just to fix this small problem. But again, she managed to fix it this time, but there is no guarantee that next time, if this is to happen, that she's gonna be able to fix it. So honestly, a lot of challenges in every single aspect that you can think of, Jalal.
Thank you a lot, Dr. Yani. I mean, reading the report and once and twice and three times, and working with you on this is exactly the amount of stories that no one can even imagine. Some people can't even begin to imagine that people are going through such difficulties to ensure that they're able to continue doing their work and to continue to abide by their contracts and to try to maintain hope. Despair is quite the villain, and the stories and the testimonies that you have collected through this report are telling. And this is what I was going to ask you. Like, I was wanting to hear some of the things that people often overlook from outside the world, and you're sharing these very intimate testimonies, but we know that this is not just one person or two. These are like, there's so many who are still going through this, and we'll be hearing from Salsabil in a little bit. But I also wanted to maybe ask you about the other aspect when it comes to internet and electricity shutdowns and disruptions. We heard a lot about the blackouts that were constantly occurring. We heard a lot about people who were going through risking their lives basically to get some form of internet connection. You just talked about the cafe where people were going to this cafe to get some internet and work, and they were targeted and killed in that cafe. This is something that people perhaps don't comprehend fully. So from what you've documented, how do you see that this entire collapse of connectivity had shaped the daily life, dignity, and the future for digital workers in Gaza?
It does shape them in every single aspect of their life, Jalal. Since they wake up in the morning, uh, they will have to start looking for so many things. First of all, they need to look for the electricity, internet, a safe place to work. And keep in mind, we are talking about like a freelancer who's not, for example, a vulnerable group. Because some of the stories that we met 30 interviewees, and I can tell you, Jalal, every single interviewee had a story. One of them, for example, because we, we met people with disability. So, for example, I met someone who used to be a Quran teacher, uh, teaching students online how to memorize Quran and how to read Quran. And that person was a person with a disability. He was blind. So his house got completely destroyed. So he lost everything. And since that he's blind, he required some very specialized equipment. Like he was telling me that I would require a kind of an app that reads, for example, the WhatsApp messages, and an app that reads my chats with my students. But I don't have it. So a person like that, how would he return to be a freelancer again? And also, we met a woman, for example, that they were telling me that I'm really scared to leave, and because if I'm going to leave, then I need to leave the kids in the house. So what would happen if they got targeted or I got targeted? So all of these calculations are basically affecting their dignity and the way they look at themselves, that the fact that we need to make serious decisions in everything we do as freelancers. Moving to work in a co-working space is a decision that could at some point become a life death decision for them. And some of them were also telling me about their risk of losing their reputation, because if you go on a platform and you want to choose a particular freelancer, the first thing you do is normally looking at their evaluation and the reviews and start reading the reviews. So the clients were telling me, or the interviewees were telling me that the clients have started to lose confidence in us, and we have seen our views and rankings dropping and going down. So experience that they were building and reviews that they were building, reputation they were building over the years, they started to lose them over time. And even they were telling me that now we don't exist I mean, because if you are not active, you will not be in the search and you will not appear first in the search engine. So they started to lose reputation that they built over years. And we talk about more than 2 years now, 2.5 years. So a lot of them even lost they're not up to date with knowledge, mainly with IT sector that is developing really fast. A lot of them mentioned that they required training because whatever knowledge they have, it gets obsolete over time quickly because of the type of work that they do. If we also speak about freelancers, and one of the main challenges, or I would say that's like the first thing that they always bring is being able to withdraw their money. Because as you know, PayPal is not working in Palestine. It doesn't work in Gaza. It doesn't work in the West Bank, but it works in the illegal settlements. So for if you are in the West Bank, and those in the West Bank will understand that if you bought the address of an illegal settlement, you can use PayPal. But if you bought Bethlehem, for example, you will not be able to use. So, and PayPal is always the preferred method for clients to use when they pay the freelancers in Gaza. So that's always the main challenge is how am I going to get my money? They try to go over it and with some workarounds, but that's not always the case. A lot of them, they were saying that we rely on our friends who are outside Gaza, so the client will send money to their accounts, and then we will find somewhere to get the money. And even when you get the money, when money lands in your bank account, still going to get this money, you need to pay commission. So you paid commission at the beginning to get the money from the client to your bank account, and then an extra commission that when I was doing the field work, that commission reached around 40%. So 40% of the money that has been, so this is the post first commission money will be then uh, commissioned by another 40% in order to be able to withdraw it. And to withdraw this money, you need to queue for, and you need to go and see who can do this for you, who can basically give you the money. So if you think, for example, of a freelancer who made $100 today, so for this $100, he will end up paying around 10 to 15% to have this money in his or in their bank account. So we speak about now 85 US dollars. To withdraw the 85 US dollars, you need to be around 40 to withdraw them and to have them into cash into your hand. So the 100 has ended up being 40 US dollars. And with the prices and with how things are in Gaza, if you need to work, you need to go for a co-working space, and they need to pay money to rent a chair and a table to work on this. So you will end up paying around $10 a day. So the 40 now dropped to 30. If you need to charge your phone, your laptop, you also need to pay for this around like $5. So the 30 dropped to 25. If you want to go for the co-working space, you need to pay transportation. That's like an extra $5. So if you think about it, you work for $100, and basically the final amount that will be in your pocket is around 20. And as I told you at the beginning, to buy a computer, you need around 4,000 US dollars. But what you can make is around 20 out of each 100 that you make. And how many 100s are you going to make a month? 500, 700, 1,000? You just talk about 200 at the end. If you make 1,000, this is 200. You will never be able to buy or to replace your laptop if it got damaged or if there is any problem that happened. So you see how the life looks like. I mean, it's really difficult.
This is exactly why I recommend that everybody with us today goes and reads the full report. It's been linked in the chat. The report is quite profound, and as much as you talk, yani, Muhammad, as much as you tell of those stories, we will never really comprehend the full scale of it. Yani, from what I've read and from knowing the reality on the ground is much, much, much more intense than what we are trying to describe. So this is just an image of what we know. Before I move to Salsabil, I want to ask you one last question. You talked about, the destruction of telecommunications in Gaza being a form of structural violence. So what do you mean by calling it a form of structural violence in this sense? And if you just like stress a little bit more about telecommunications in Gaza, and then we can also move to testimonies from Salsabil. Thank you.
Yeah, it's basically violence, but in different shapes. You can talk about social violence, financial violence, emotional violence, and physical violence as well, because that destruction came with physical violence. Salsabil probably can tell more about it. I don't want to tell her story, but they all came through physical violence at several points. And as I said, when you lose your years of your career that you built up over the years, that is a violence by itself. At the end of the day, when you cannot you are the breadwinner, when you cannot bring food to your kids at the end of the day, and you are a freelancer, you'll be thinking about basically quitting that job and do something else that can bring money to your kids. Um, all of these, and even like the way for example, a lot of them, they were telling me that we hide from our clients that we are from Gaza. That's by itself it's a violent, because you need to hide your identity. And people who minority people know this pain when sometimes you have to hide your identity. And the same, they go through the same exercise that they have to hide from their clients that they are from Gaza. Because once their clients hear that they are from Gaza, then they will not be willing to work with them. Again, they are not racist against them, but they know that something might happen that will stop everything, and they don't want to invest in something that is really risky. So that's by itself was a painful testimony that I heard from so many of the interviewees that we met. Um, yeah, and the fact that this is long term. I mean, that we had the ceasefire, what they call a ceasefire in October, but that wasn't like the end of their suffering. It's continuing. So even they do not have any ambition plans for the future because what they expect is things to get worse. Their computers will at some point the battery will die. If you keep charging your mobile battery your laptop battery with a car battery, at some point it will die and you will not be able to replace. So they live through this perpetual pain and in which every day they wake up and they they may not be able to be freelancers at all, and opportunities are getting less and less. And this is an open market, as I said. Clients, yes, they appreciate that you are from Gaza. I had one of the interviewees mentioned that some of the clients they offered some financial assistance. So they said, "Okay, you are from Gaza. I'll give you some charity, but sorry, I cannot work with you because it's not about that. It's just I want my project to be done." So it's perpetual. At the end of the day, they work in a very open market. So if you cannot do this job, then a freelancer from another country with a stable internet, with access to PayPal, can do the job that someone from Gaza can do, probably with a lower price, because now freelancers in Gaza, due to inflation, the hyperinflation of prices that we have, they had to take to charge more in order to be able to survive. So within these challenges, that's basically a violation against them, against their ambitions, against their own identity, and against their future.
Thank you, Doctor. Again, it's really important for you to read this report and also to subscribe to Hamle's mailing list, because I can promise there's an upcoming report also by Dr. Mohammed Alshurafa, which we're currently in the final stages of finalizing, with more great insights into the digital economy across Palestine, in Gaza, in the West Bank, and also for Palestinians, citizens of Israel. Salsabil, I hope you're okay. I believe you are in a shared space, because that's where internet is usually available, and you are one of the testimonies which the report which Dr. Mohammed Alshurafa had authored relied on. So some of the testimonies come directly from people like you and your project Taqat. So how do the findings of the report reflect what you and others have experienced due to the destruction of telecommunications in this way? There's no audio, Nabil. مش مسموع. لسه مش مسموع. I mean, but the internet shows, it's red. Maybe the connection is not great, but I can see your image is moving well. Maybe just a microphone if you change the option. Might be the settings. So maybe if you want to drop out and in, because the image is okay. It's just the audio is not working. Oh, wait.
Are you hearing me?
Yes. Allah, please.
Okay. Thank you for your question. Firstly, my project is Gaza Talents. Everything was find in the report uh, is yes, is our daily in Gaza. I'm in infrastructure. We lose our job. We lost job opportunities, and we faced a lot of problem. Uh, my the the problem we faced, like electricity and bad connection internet, to find for everyone work as a freelancer in Gaza. And yes, everything find in the report is absolutely it's our daily in our life in Gaza. And for my project, Gaza Talents, I find some solution for a freelancer like me. I'm faced a problem when I go to when I go to a workspace. Now I am in workspace, and every day after wake up, I go to workspace to continue my work, my clients, and continue to develop my project as Gaza Talents. It's my project. I connect freelancer in Gaza with companies and client outside Gaza. But we still find a problem like uh, uh, electricity cut and of internet.
Yeah.
Why I should type?
No, please continue. Please continue.
Are you hear me?
Yes, we hear you
Okay.
well. It's just, it
So
keeps cutting, but it's clear. Please continue.
okay. So I'm founded Gaza Talents before 1 year. After I lost my jobs and I lost my and, laptop, also my family. I'm go from zero, but I'm to work. But when I started to my work and continue in people in Gaza, because some people in Gaza, yes, have skills and have skills and have hero or power, but they don't have job opportunities, and he faced the problem to find from after woke up. I was back in the home. Just
Fortunately, this is the reality of connecting with anyone within Gaza. Yani, very unfortunate. The connection must have dropped. Well, we hope that Salsabil can join us again. It's been very, on and off. This is, Muhammad, this is the reality that people are under working. And Salsabil was just talking about job opportunities as something that's needed for Gaza's entrepreneurs and freelancers. Sometimes we talk about the suffering, sometimes we talk about the resilience, but we don't ask ourselves or the important questions of what do they need and how can we how can we create support, how can we create a system of support that is something they can rely on. There's lots of desperation, and you also talked about how it is not sustainable. Yani, maybe you can fill in the gap here until Salsabil joins us again, and tell me more about, what do you see to be the biggest gap between what digital workers need and what the international response is currently providing in Gaza?
Yeah, I can notice a big gap actually between what is there and what is being offered. I think the main reason is basically there's not proper understanding of how much they suffer in order to be able to be online. Like Salsabil, for example, to be with us today, she had to move and to go to walk to a co-working space. So there's not a kind of first of all, we need to understand how much they suffer. We need to understand that they suffer at every single aspect. And whatever we provide, whatever has been provided so far, it's not enough because we see their suffering not ending. So there is a problem with the way we support them. Um, so the things that need to be done is basically to take it as part of the digital infrastructure is at the end of the day, it's part of the overall infrastructure. So the support to Gaza needs to be also support for their daily life. I mean, you need if you need to walk or you need to drive, you need a proper road. You need to be eating well, to be drinking well in order to be working as a freelancer. So the support so far is very, very short to what exactly they need. Uh, Therefore, what is needed now is as we need to give them support that they actually need. We need to assess, to do proper need assessment, see what they need, and respond. Because what is happening now is not meeting the requirements at all. So we need to look at that. There need to be more infrastructure. There need to be more pressure in order to allow more infrastructure, reconstruction materials to get into Gaza, more IT equipment, more laptop computers, whatever needed. There need to be more pressure. There need to be also more pressure on platforms that, for example, like Wise, Stripe, PayPal, all of these all of these platforms, we need to exercise pressure and do some advocacy collectively in order to make pressure on these. For example, PayPal. I don't understand PayPal. It says it doesn't work in Palestine because it's a conflict zone, but it works in Yemen. It works in Somalia. So it makes you think that it's not really because of what they call a conflict. No, there are some political agendas behind that. So we need more support and more solidarity. And as Sasabil did with her project Gaza Talents, yeah, we need to look for talents and for freelancers from Gaza. Probably we should be able to understand their situation, show some flexibility and some tolerance when we work with them, and see what could be the mechanisms. I mean, we need to have or implement some mechanisms that are specifically tailored and customized for freelancers in Gaza. Give them good time to work on projects, flexible deadlines, in order to be able to support them. And at the end of the day, you will get high quality, and that's what you need.
Thank you, shukran, Mohammed. Salsabil, yani, welcome. That's the one of the biggest issues, as Mohammed was talking, is that there's a big gap between what is needed and what is actually being provided. This is what people need to be aware of. Salsabil, if I have yani, one more question to you, yani, based on this conversation, on your experience with your project, and based on the findings of this report, which of course is something you are living through, not only reading about. So what would be a message that you would want policymakers, donors, digital economy stakeholders, what is one message you want them to take away from this report and this conversation? What should this message be?
Firstly, I'm sorry because the internet was bad, so the cut for me. The gap in Gaza is no internet, no electricity, and we need to supporting like environment. This is environment give the freelancer a requirement to continue their jobs because is a very problem because the freelancer in Gaza faced the problem to continue. So we need supported our by give us laptops, create more a workspace. Now the workspace in Gaza is yes limited, but and this is workspace give from take from freelancer expensive cost, and the freelancer faced the problem in this, and we need to from donors and people outside Gaza support the digital economy in the Gaza also. Like in yes, Gaza tenants, we help people in Gaza or freelancers in Gaza finding job opportunity for them, but we don't have supporting to create an environment for them like workspace. Yes, we still reach for organization or companies outside Gaza to create environment for create environment for these people because the Gaza is have skills and have everything, but have skills and have job opportunity, but they need to supporting to continue and creativity. Okay, and we in Gaza, I am in Gaza. I am shaped Gaza talents. The Gaza talents shaped under the war and under the challenges. I was every day. I after woke up, I got to work space to continue and developing and give help. Give supporting and helping for freelancers in Gaza. And I hope for everyone or every person outside Gaza remember digital economy in Gaza and support freelancer Gaza. We in Gaza not need just a limited aid or just food. No, we want to also laptops supporting electricity all day, find electricity all day, and internet power. Now we used internet from street or SMS, so it's bad or slowly. And now this is a call. I'm now this is night, and I'm still work and I'm still work, and I'm meeting with you. So this is we need.
Thank you, Salsabil. And it's very important to hear from you directly. And there's many different aspects that are associated, yani risks of just working late and working far from home. As Dr. Muhammad also mentioned earlier, some people are not even, they don't have a home even, so they're homeless,
Yes,
working
yes,
remotely, and
in the tent. Yes, yes.
exactly, exactly. And this is something that people don't realize. It's not, if you want to sustain life, it's not just food and water. It's much more than that. And this is what people need to hear. And this is what we're trying to make, to get this message out through this research and this advocacy work. Maybe Muhammad, you can also answer this same question if you have specific messages that you would want to focus for policymakers and donors who are affiliated with the humanitarian work, and of course, any other digital economy stakeholders to take away from this conversation.
Thank you, Jalal. Yeah, as I mentioned, we need more advocacy, and we need to collectively come together to support freelancers in Gaza. There is definitely discrimination from international platforms against them. You know, the report that we currently work on it, there are so many questions without answers. Why Palestinians are excluded? There are so many questions without answers. It doesn't matter how much pressure you do, we still cannot get exact answers why Palestinians are excluded. Um, so we need to come together through Hamla, through other organizations to make pressure on these. I would say name and shame them. That's fine, absolutely fine, because they are making the lives of a lot of people in Gaza really hard. A lot of people who got children that they need to feed. A lot of people who sleep hungry because of some practices, irresponsible practices by some platforms. So we need to do that. We need to have more pressure as well on the Israeli authorities to allow more. Not just aid, as Salsabil said, but they need IT in infrastructure to get in, because the earthy territories have been destroyed in Gaza. Buildings have been destroyed, but the virtual world around them is still functioning. So if the real world has been destroyed, so we should at least give them a chance to access the virtual world, and instead of the case of I would say digital colonialism that they live under. So we need to make sure that we do this, and we need to support initiatives coming from Gaza. Gaza Talent is one of them. It's one of the nicest and one of the refined I would say initiatives coming from Gaza, but there are a lot that we need to support. We need to work with them. We need to train them. If you know some resources, some certificates that you can you can award. If you got the experience, if you got the connections, please just try to help at individual level or at organizational level. But we need to work with them. Otherwise, that small hope that we have, we will lose it. Because yes, the digital economy now, it's a very, very small hope, but we need to maintain it. Otherwise, we will just lose everything. So Salsabil is with us today, but you never know if things continue as they are. Probably in a month or two, we will not be able to reach out to her. That would, whatever we struggle today to be in touch with Salsabil, that would be fantastic. Maybe 2 or 3 months from now, we would be aiming for something like that.
That's the reality of it, yani. You're not hiding any of the truth. Like I'm looking at the question some people are asking for, like how people can access internet, and mentioning, you know, satellite services, and mentioning, like for example, Starlink. I see a question if Starlink can be used for internet access because it's been used in Ukraine. But I don't believe that was ever a possibility in Gaza, that there is any satellite company that offered any kind of access to people to access the internet and circumvent this blackout. Am I correct?
Yeah, yes, yeah, yeah, 100%. Our aim is not, our aim is just to get the 3G, which is basically there in the West Bank, for example. In Gaza, we still talk about 2G. I really cannot describe to you how slow the 2G is. You cannot do anything using the 2G. And they had another alternative, which was some of them, some of the freelancers were using the Israeli eSIMs. Now, a few problems with that. The first problem is you need to have a modern iPhone or a modern phone to be able to use the eSIM. If you got an old one, you cannot. Like, for example, all of my family in Gaza, all of them cannot have eSIMs on their phones because all of their phones are old ones, like 5 or 6 years old. So that's the first problem, that they couldn't use it. The second the second reason is to be able to use the eSIM, you need to be at a high building. First of all, there is a very few now high buildings remaining in Gaza. And the second of all, if you go to the rooftop of any building, you put your life at risk. If you want to catch a signal by going to the rooftop, you will be targeted by a drone within a few minutes. So they were putting their lives at risk. Uh, so these were the options that they were thinking about. The other option is basically what we have with Salsabil, is going to some co-working spaces. Some of them started for free, but then they started to charge money for people who. So some of these initiatives started by some funders, but then with cost increasing, they had to charge fees, and now the fees are increasing. So co-working space was somehow a way to go around it. But with co-working space comes a lot of challenges. Because with co-working spaces, it's not freelancers who are the only users. You've got students, for example, who now, because there are no universities, no schools in Gaza, so students they learn online. So students also are users of these co-working spaces. So there is a lot of pressure on these co-working spaces. And there is no guarantee that people there will not be targeted. And I was also talking to some of the women interviewees, and they were saying there is not like some private spaces for women. And if you understand the culture in Gaza, you'll know that this is not culturally accepted, that they do not have a private area for women, for example, to pray. And so there are a lot of challenges that come with every way they try to get signal. Some of them, they buy internet on a daily basis. Like, you buy a card with a number, you put the number, you get access to the internet. This one is it's not stable at all. You buy the card, you put the number, it doesn't work, or it's very, very very slow. And also Israel doesn't allow for example, Jawal and Wataniya, they do not allow them to get materials and equipment into Gaza to fix their towers. Wataniya and Jawal, they try to go around it. They use something, they call it cows, which is still on wheels. That's something like a portable towers. But it also didn't work because it came with challenges as well, like electricity and where to locate them, and would you guarantee that they will not be targeted, and how many cows Israel are going to allow. So challenges in every single aspect of getting connectivity to internet. Sometimes you have internet, but you don't have electricity. So you need to have both at once. Uh, yeah, it's really difficult.
Yeah, thank you, Mohammed, for that. Salsabil, because we have you and I believe the connection is okay now. Yani, if there's one last thing you want to say, maybe to share about your personal experience. We're talking about, internet possibilities of how to access internet. We know that there are companies, Paltel, Orido, Jawal are attempting to connect people. The report that Muhammad wrote actually focused a lot in a good light, focusing on how these working spaces have been a lifeline. But at the same time, we know that these working spaces have also cost money, sometimes money that people cannot afford. What is your view of the working spaces where internet is provided, and how would you improve them? How would you want to improve these workspaces? What would you want to see become, to make it a better space for people to actually now make it happen, yani?
Yes. Our life in Gaza still is very bad and is very difficult. The internet is, yes, find the internet, but is slowly or bad. We used internet like ASM, like internet from the street, yes, and co-spacing, work spacing, yes, find internet, but normally was cut the internet also. The Gaza, like I say, for the moment, need to need find more the workspace, and this workspace is will be free, not very expensive, because the workspace now in Gaza very expensive. And the freelancer, if getting the job or getting the project, like me, I'm work as a UX UI designer. Sometime I'm get work the cut the guest the part of the cost go to the workspace. Okay. So the challenges, like I say, the internet is very difficult, and just finding Gaza, but is very bad. Okay. A lot of people in Gaza need also training, not just internet training, and to developing skills, their skills need to more companies from outside Gaza, Gaza, heard this people. And just
Shukran. Thank you,
maybe
Sabine.
yes, maybe this solution, if finding more workspace in Gaza, this is give the freelancer and a company or out Gaza trust for both opportunity job يعني تصير more for freelancer in Gaza.
Thank you. Thank you, Sabine.
Yes.
I'm looking at the questions. Yani, there's a few things which I wanted, we did address in the last few minutes. We did talk about, in general, internet access, satellite. I see one asker was mentioning gray boxes for internet access, which I believe are internal type of networks. They also shared the link to the LinkedIn for the founder. This is different types of systems where people can access internet, but it might not be the solution that we're looking for in Gaza, because we know we are seeking external connectivity. So we did answer most of those questions in our conversation. Eduardo, your question from a few moments ago, if there's any sort of discrimination and workers being paid lower wages in Gaza, I think this is a reality that we also must contend with. And I think this will be a subject that we have to explore further. Is there exploitation also for these workers? But at this point, at this moment in time, what we are looking for and what Salsabil was talking about is These workers should be hired, there should be more job opportunities, and there should be training. So we will be looking into tools that provide work opportunities for workers, that provide the ability for people to actually, deliver outputs. Salsabil might have been just disconnected from us, but I wanted to say thank you to everyone in the conclusion of this webinar. Thank you, Dr. Mohammed, and thank you to Salsabil for the insights, for sharing that this research is not just research, it's actually lived realities, and the people behind it that we must listen to them. Thank you to everyone who joined us today. When we hear about this conversation that there's internet collapsing, and it's not just market failure, it's a blockade, it's a systematic institutional violence, it's infrastructure damage, it's systematic exclusion from connectivity by denying 3G even, by denying access to platforms, payment platforms, discrimination by companies for money. Internet is not a luxury, it's a lifeline to income, to education, to communication, to dignity. So we're not talking about internet as a luxury, we're talking about something much, much, much more important in this case. So we encourage you, of course, to read the full report, to stay engaged with the work we are doing, to share within your networks, reflect on this conversation if possible. At Hamle, as promised, we will indeed be publishing more report findings very soon in collaboration with Dr. Mohammed Alshurafa, focusing on the companies that practice discrimination and prevent Palestinian workers and entrepreneurs and anyone in commerce from even accessing these very important platforms. This form of discrimination is causing rights violations and suffering on a scale that's unseen before. So please stay tuned, follow us on social media, and thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Dr. Mohammed, and thank you to Salsabil.
Thank you, Jalal.